What's up, party people? It's your boy JB, and yes, it is true. I bought a red. I've had a red for 3 months now. I didn't really want to announce that I had it until I kind of felt comfortable with it and felt comfortable talking about it. But yeah, I have a red. Having a red is definitely a dream come true. It's definitely something I've been working for my whole career. I have the red SCARLET-W. It shoots 5K, but this isn't a technical video at all. I really try and stay away from the tech stuff. But I just wanted to share with you the pros and cons of buying a red. Let's start with the cons. Everyone always starts with the pros. Let's start with the cons. Weight. This thing weighs so much, man. Like this could literally be my workout. Like, man, doing some curls for the girls, yeah. We're filming on the Ursa Mini right now before I sell it. Great camera, by the way. If you're looking for a camera before you jump to the red, definitely recommend the Ursa Mini. Something to check out. If you have the opportunity to shoot with a red or you're shooting with one now, you'll know real quick how heavy this thing is and how much of a beast it really is. Second con of a red is the battery life. I've had really good luck with the Hypercores. It's a battery I've used for years now. Haven't had any issues with them. They do really, really well in cold temperatures, which is more than half of the stuff that I'm filming. The version I use are the 98, so that means it's flight friendly. So I have like 4 of those where I travel everywhere. But because it's the 98 watt, the runtime on a red is about an hour and a half. And so that times 4 is really 6 hours, and that's half a day filming in most cases. So when I'm on an all-day set, that's definitely a concern right now. There are workarounds, buying the 150 watt or buying more. But I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably know how expensive it is to be a filmmaker, and so running a red definitely takes a lot of power. The third con kind of goes with the second, the boot up time. Like, I've never worked with a camera that takes so slow to boot up. It's about 60 seconds. It's about a minute. On most sets, you know, if it's very controlled, if you have a lot of people, that's not really an issue. You probably have extra batteries or you have another power source. But if you're a one-man band or one-man wolfpack or however you want to describe yourself, it's pretty challenging, you know, because you're coming up with the shot, you're figuring out where you need to be or how to direct or whatever the case may be. That battery is draining really quickly while you're having to deal with these other issues. On most cameras, while you're switching sets or telling an actor what to do or setting up a tripod somewhere, you would just turn the camera off. Like, no big deal. Like, I would just turn off an A7S II, or I would turn off the Ursa Mini, or whatever camera I'm using, I would just turn it off. But with the red, with the boot up time, you don't really want to turn it off because you know, oh, well, I'm gonna add an extra minute onto the whole thing. And just depending on the nature of what you're shooting, most of the stuff I do is a one-take thing, in the moment, live event, whether it's a wedding or action sports or something like that. And if you don't get that moment when it happens, that moment's gone and you can't recreate it. So that's the flip side. Now, I know there's probably gonna be a lot of people saying, well, a red's not meant to be a run and gun camera. I agree with you, but the quality and what you can get out of a red is just so good that why would you not try and push it and use it as a run and gun camera? I definitely think that the red shines the best, and any camera is gonna shine the best in a controlled environment. But we all don't have a big production value or a production budget, or we don't know what is going to be thrown our way, and so that's why we need cameras to be as versatile as possible. Con number 4 is the setup and breakdown time of a red. Just because of how versatile the red camera is and how it can be mounted and how it can be used, there can be a pretty lengthy setup and breakdown time. The last thing I have to say about the red, the 2 biggest complaints I have with it, the 2 biggest cons of a red, is this amazing top handle mount that you can get from Red. It's amazing. The rubber is so freaking durable. Like, this should be like on a golf club or something. But look. Red. What were you thinking? Like, it's so frustrating. The top handle mount is so nice because it has this trigger record, and I know there's other third-party sources that do it, but you know, if you're gonna buy Red, might as well go all in. The handle is so good, but you can't eject your battery pack. So if you're running this thing on an easy rig or really just anything and your battery dies, you have to go get the screw or the Allen wrench and take off the top handle, eject, put it back on, and it just takes time. And the first time I really noticed this when I was filming at X Games.
And yesterday was not so good. At the absolute bottom. All of the struggles that I've come through, all of the difficulties, concussions, injuries have really just served.
And my goal here is to do a run that includes 4 different directions of double flips.
Not gonna hold back here at all. As you get the wise guy dodges for a bullet there, he gets this on each. His third and final.
I had to be super strategic when I was filming. I knew that I had 10 minutes left on the brick, and so I would just film a little bit, and then I was gonna like wait till the person dropped in, and then switch out the battery. But it's just like those aren't things that you want to be thinking of or be worried about when you're filming. I called Red, and my Red rep was so understanding, sympathetic. But at that point, it's like you already bought a Red, so of course your Red rep is gonna be sympathetic. The fact that got overlooked is a really big bummer to me. I know there's other third-party accessories that I can buy, but I really don't want to do that. And so the fact that Red overlooked this mistake makes me really less likely to use it. Every camera is gonna have its quirks and flaws and pros and cons, and so like that's just one of the things that you have to deal with when you buy a Red. Lastly, on the cons is these screws. This is a beautiful thumb screw, works great. These other ones are whatever, but this one right here is literally such a pain and almost nearly impossible to get to. And so Red, again, like your packaging and your designs, like the build is so great, but there's things like that you question, like, what were you thinking? Okay, now the pros of a Red, let's have it. Even though a Red costs more than, say, a 1DX2 or an A7S2 or 3 or whatever, the beauty of a Red or owning a Red is that you can charge more. Not only do you get to charge more, now you can even charge as a camera rental. If you're not charging as a rental, owning those smaller form factor cameras or those DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, you should be. Even if it's minimal, you should be charging or budgeting into your quote how much your camera costs. Like, in the long term of things, like you're gonna have to be upgrading your camera. Like, you need to get that cost back through charging for a rental. Coffee break. A struggle for me when I was starting out, whether I was doing weddings or ministry videos or you name it, so many of my clients were just wanting an overall cost, and it was really hard to break down each little cost. And so really I didn't even know what I was charging my clients. I would just say, here's a number, and if they took it, that was great. If they didn't, then I would probably come back down till we met somewhere in the middle. What I think a lot of new and young filmmakers are missing is to charge for a camera rental. Even if you're shooting on a DSLR, you should still be budgeting that into your overall cost. And what that looks like for me now is I get a charge for a camera rental rate and a director of photography rate. For me to show up to go shoot something is $1,000 a day. And for my camera rental, it's $600 a day. Say someone just wants the Red and they don't want me as a DP, to make me feel a little bit more comfortable with letting that Red go, especially for maybe a first-time client, I also offer and charge a Red Tech rate. So $250 a day, really just for me to show up on set and just answer any technical questions, make sure that the Red doesn't get dropped or broken or anything like that. And really just kind of be a Red Tech. So not really doing anything else besides monitoring the Red, fixing the Red, making sure there's no sensor issues, anything like that. And that's another way to make an extra buck on set. I really want to take time to talk about how to make money off of your Red, because when you make such an investment, you need to figure out how you're going to make your return in that investment. In terms of investing, if you ever told anyone you were investing in a camera, they're going to laugh at you because it's not really an investment, because a camera depreciates over time. But if you know how to play your cards right, you can make money off in paying for a camera. The last few things that are pros of buying a Red are, it gives you this credential, it gives you this like status. I don't recommend buying a camera just to make you into that status or into that league. but it does. I also think it's challenged me as a filmmaker to use Ursa Minis or A7S2s or 1DX2s to better tell a story with the cameras that I have in front of me and available, instead of relying on a Red to make it look like this spectacular thing, because I've found personally I've overlooked story or sound or lighting just because I own a Red, and that's definitely, I think, the first mistake in buying a Red, is thinking that your image is gonna be spectacular out of camera. No, there's so many other things that go into making a good film. But the Red definitely does give you a credential. When I was filming at X Games, I just held my Red around and people were like, here you go right ahead. I just got back traveling Europe with David Wise, and for 3/4 of that trip, anywhere we went with the Red, people were stopping me to ask me questions about it. Especially in the action sports, it definitely is kind of an end-all be-all camera because of the reputation it has. I felt like such a rook at Audi 9s because, I mean, I think we had 15 Reds there. There was other Scarlets, there were other Epics, there were Ravens. I mean, you name it, it was there. The last two things that I'll say about a Red is the quality. Getting that 5K footage is spectacular. Again, a lot of it has to do with lighting and sound to make it a great film, but having a good sensor and the colors that come off of that Red definitely don't hurt. The other thing that I think a lot of people are fearful about Red, and I definitely was too when I started, was Red RAW. But Red RAW is one of the best things that has ever happened to me as a filmmaker. Being able to have that flexibility in post, and especially where I do so much run and gun, if my white balance is off or my ISO is off, I can fix all of that in post, and it is literally a lifesaver. And I don't recommend shooting to fix it in post. That's never really the best idea, but some scenarios you just can't help it. So to have that flexibility in post is awesome, and the render times are actually more efficient, and the storage is actually more efficient as well, shooting on Red RAW than say ProRes. So there it is. I hope this was insightful or productive for at least one of you. I know I could have used some of those tips years ago. I know I could have used some of that insight on Red a few months ago before I bought one. I really hope that this channel will be an open platform to everyone. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns, definitely feel free to leave them in the comments below. I want to get back to them. I want to answer your questions. If you want me to be a little bit more open and honest on pricing or how to market yourself or branding, that's going to come with time on this channel. That's something I want to strive for on this channel. So if you want to stick around, if you want to subscribe, if you want to comment, if you want to leave a like, whatever, do whatever your heart desires. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.